Hello and welcome back to another video, and today we're here for another round of the RRacing League here on MotoGP 20, and this time we're back for round 7 at Motegi. So really without any further ado, let's get into qualifying and let's see how I got on. So here we are then in qualifying for Motegi. You see an absolute squirm out of that last corner. Currently we're sat in second position, 41 seconds on the clock, 39 as we go over the line. Vazel's currently on pole position with a 47.8. Obviously, like I said, I'm in second. We've gone extremely wide to that first corner, but cutting it back through the second one. We're absolutely sliding that rear tyre. We're really not treating it very nicely. Palmer too as well as we go down towards the tricky. I think this is actually turn 3 technically, because I think that's counted as 2 corners, even though it's really just one long one. Not too bad through turn 3. Missed the apex, but we're going to cut back for the apex of turn 4. And then down the straight then we go towards turn 5. Probably one of the trickiest corners on the track. 37 thousandths currently away from pole position, hitting the brakes then for this turn 5. Very easy to go in wide, but actually that time we're taking it very nice, clipping the apex on the inside and then just clipping it on the outside on the exit as we come up towards 130R. No, not the one at Suzuka, it's the one at Motegi. So through 130R with no troubles. 1/10 then away through the second sector, through turn 7, and you've got to flick the bike over through turn 8, the S curve. One of my favourite sections of this track, I must say, down towards, is it the V corner this one? I think that's what it's called. Yes, into turn 9, V corner. Picking up the bike, sliding the rear. Once again, you can see the tyre temperatures are pretty high there. So really sliding this rear tyre here. But obviously these tyres only need to last one lap as we go into the hairpin curve. You can see the black line coming from the front of the bike. We locked the front up on the way in there. But that's just how you got to take it. Nearly 2/10 now from Vazel's time, but only just underneath that. We're actually third place now. We've lost a position. Someone has done a better lap as we brake for the 90-degree corner. Some interesting corner names at this circuit, it must be said. So firing out of the 90-degree corner, flicking the bike over then through turn 12. This is where I was struggling this section the whole way through practice, flicking it through turn 13, through victory corner on the power once again sliding. You can see how orange it is, and up towards the line. What is the time going to be in this session? 1:48.1, so almost 3/10 away from Vazel's time, and in the end that was good enough for 4th position. You can see how close the times were, 99,000 separating Vazel's and Darius in second there, Desmo Danny in third, just a few hundredths in front of us, Karma then in 5th behind me, Jäger in 6th, 7th for Jono, 8th for KG, but our championship rival Seafire, well Karma is also a championship rival, but one of our championship rivals and teammate Seafire has not got a time here for qualifying, so that's going to have some massive implications on the race. So without any further ado then, let's get into the race and let's see what we can do from this 4th position. So then here we are down on the grid here at Motegi. This start is going to be crucial because the first corner is extremely tight. There you can see Chris on pole with his special Japanese helmet there. So waiting for the game to load. First of all, now the lights are on. We're waiting for the lights to go out here at Motegi. Lights out and away we go off the line. A bit of a wheelie off this line. It's not actually been a terrible start, but it's not been great. Still 4th place. We go down towards the first corner, going around the outside, swooping in front of one of the MV Augustas, and now he's gone down. So it's Desmo Danny's gone down. We go side by side. Chris sort of turns in on us and puts us on the grass a little bit there, but I was trying to squeeze up the inside of Chris and Darius, who are already going too wide. So down towards then this turn 3. On the brakes, around the outside of Chris. Are we going to be able to pull this one off through turn 3? We're now in front of him, but he's still got the inside. We're on the power, and we've got that move done. So it's a great start from 4th to 2nd position. It's already in a nice position right behind Darius, who we've had a couple of battles with this season. He's very fast and very consistent rider, so it's going to be difficult to try and make our way past him through turn 5. He's a little bit wider than me, but that would be nothing to be concerned about. It's a fairly decent line. It's just my line's a little bit different to most other people. Through 130R, then trying to keep the power up. And you can see, in contrast to the qualifying, how cold the tyres are, so we have to just be careful not to high side out of any of these corners by getting on the power too aggressively. He goes very wide there through turn 7. That allows us to get the run through the S curve, so we're almost side by side with him down towards the V corner. So I've gone to the outside. He's braked a little bit early, gone defensive, but he's ran a little bit wide. We've cut up the inside through the V corner, so there we go, up into the lead of the race. So 4th to 1st in one lap, and it all started from him running wide in turn 7 that allowed you to set that move. So people that want to know a little bit more about racecraft on this game, take note of that. You can set moves up corners in advance. You don't have to ram people out the way. But there we go then. So you're looking behind 3/10 of a second lead already as we go down towards the 90-degree corner, hitting the brakes and around 100. Actually, might be 200 metres. We've hit a bit of contact there. So he actually hit us up the back there, which actually I completely forgot about. That's why it caught me off guard so much. So here we go then through the last sector, through turn 12. Through 13, like I said, I've been struggling a lot here in the practice. Through the victory corner, sliding the rear tyre, bit of a wheelie as well. You see Karma and Vazel's having a bit of a battle further behind. But up towards the line then, what is the time at this first lap? 1:55, and we're 3/10 in front. So through turn 1, once again they go a little bit wide. But here you can see then at the end of this second lap, see on the map, me and Darius are actually getting away from everybody else a little bit more. So 49.6 to myself on that lap, 0.6 of a second in front of Darius now. But like I said, you can see we are escaping. Desmond Danny actually did the fastest lap there, but 49.3 then on the next lap. Now 0.8 of a second in front, so we are building out that gap to Darius behind. And here we are at the end of that same lap, then end of lap 4, 49.6. But Darius is a 49.3, so responds half a second now behind. See shades of Jerez here, where he starts to take chunks out of my gap. So at the end of the 5th lap then, 0.4 of a second, so another 10th down then. So Darius is reeling us back in here at Motegi, and you see looking over my shoulder this time as we're about to start the 7th lap. At the end of the 6th lap then, 49.7, he's now 1/10 behind, so he's right there. So the battle is on with about 5 laps to go. Very interesting. But down towards then, you can see the hairpin curve. We go in so wide, almost in the grass there, getting all the power. I just wanted to try and get a good exit out of here to put a bit of time into him, and I went in too hot. 0.6 of a second, you can see the gap. But at the end of that lap, you can actually see on the map I've put a bit of time into him. So 49.3, a bit of a better lap. 0.9. We actually put 0.8 into him on that lap. It was a good lap, but you could see how much I was pushing through that hairpin curve. And here we go then, about to start the 9th lap. Yeah, I'm sorry that it just keeps cutting at the end of the laps, but not much is happening. Half a second, so he takes 0.4 out of us on that lap. So Darius is on the charge once again. And here we go, about to start the penultimate lap. We actually mess up that section a little bit. I mentioned earlier on a couple of times that we've been struggling, and that's where he was catching us every single lap. And he's got the run as we go down the straight towards the first corner. Here he goes on the right hand side on the brakes. Up the inside goes Darius. He hits the front there. He's run a little bit wide. We're cutting back up the inside, side by side with Darius. He's trying to go round the outside of us there, still side by side. So he's still hanging in there. He's actually got better drive. And here he goes down the straight. He's taken the lead. He's moving over on us a little bit, which is more than entitled to do. And he takes the lead here in Motegi. So we lose the lead. The first time it's actually really happened to us, where someone has caught up from behind, actually managed to make the pass stick. And there he goes. He's got 0.2 already, but you know that's really nothing. We've got 1.8 back to Vazel's behind, so we've got a bit of a gap to play with. And here we go through turn 5. Once again, like on the first lap, 2 different lines there. He goes a little bit wider through there, I go a bit tighter, just to try and pick up the power and get on the throttle through 130R then. And here we go. Obviously, this is where he made the mistake on lap 1, turn 7, which allowed him to run wide, but this time he makes no such mistake. He's had the whole race to try and recompose. He's been following me. He knows where he's quicker than me as well. He knows it's that last sector, so he knows if he can pull a little bit of a gap here, or at least just stay in front, he should be able to stay in the lead, as long as he's leading into the sector that benefits him the most. And here we go then, down towards the hairpin curve, obviously where we made that mistake a couple of laps ago. Into the hairpin curve, this time not quite as wide, but once again a massive black line coming from the bike. And you can see Darius has a twitch. He has a pretty bad twitch, and I think he might have actually gone on the grass a little bit because of that. So in the slipstream, still 1.8 seconds back to Vazel's. But you can see down towards the 90-degree corner on the inside, on the brakes, up the inside we go, we dive back for the lead. So we take the lead back momentarily there, but he cuts back underneath us, so he gets back here from once again. So Darius retakes the lead here, and here is his best section. I wanted to make sure I was back in front for this section, because I knew how much quicker he was than me through here, trying to get on the power as much as I can. We actually did that section probably better than I did on any lap in the race, and I suppose put a bit of pressure on yourself, make sure you catch up to your rival. 49.4, which is still pretty good considering we had a couple of passes on that lap as well. And we're on the final lap of the race now, and I'm all over the back of him coming out of turn 2. You can see I've actually got plenty of grip left, so grip is probably not an issue. Temperature maybe, but the grip should be with us still. We've still got plenty of fuel as well, 3.5 laps to go, so if we need some power mode 2, we can definitely pull it out the bag here. And he's sliding the rear tyre through turn 4 quite a bit, and here we go, trying to get the run. Maybe we'll have to have an attack down into turn 5. Obviously, like I said, he's been going a lot wider than me through there the entire race. So on the brakes, we're looking for the inside. We're getting so close, we actually touch him a bit. We actually touch the back of Darius, and that gives him a massive gap. You can see on the map, we're about halfway between him and Chris, so we lost a massive amount of time through that corner. 130R then, once again, and he's pulling the gap actually through this section. 0.7 of a second now Darius has got in front of us through turn 7, flicking the bike over through the S curve off turn 8. We try and make a bit of progress back on him. We are catching up a little bit, because this is really my sector where I make up the time. Through the V corner then, getting another slide. You can see I'm really trying, I'm giving it absolutely everything here, and Darius has got the gap over me now as we go down towards the hairpin curve. The only thing I can bank on is him making that mistake from the previous lap, but you can see this time I get squirmy. I'm squirming all over the place, and there you go, half a second gap, and he's just pulling away. We got a terrible, terrible exit. We basically did what he did on the previous lap. So down towards the 90-degree corner. The race is lost here if he does not make a mistake. We actually gained a lot on the brakes there. But definitely trying to push to try and catch him up, or maybe force him into a mistake. But here we go then, into the last couple of corners. Darius has got this one in the bag as long as he doesn't crash at his last corner, and he doesn't. So at the last corner then, Darius, brilliant exit as well, up towards the line. He's going to take victory here in Motegi, and we have to settle for second position after a really good race, a fantastically ridden race there from Darius. He didn't get flustered early on when he lost the lead, and he managed to stick on the back of me and fight back where it counted. So fair play to Darius. I got nothing but respect to you. He just genuinely beat me. It wasn't like a case of I had an excuse or anything like that. He genuinely was just quicker, and he played the race much more tactically than I did. So well done to you. So if we look at the final results of this race then, as we already know, a fantastic win from Darius there. Really well ridden race. Managed to mug us on the penultimate lap of the race, and I had absolutely no answer to him. I tried as much as I could, but I couldn't quite do it. So we come home second, 6 tenths behind him there. Vazels ends up in third, 2.2 back. Seafire in fourth. So from the back of the grid, a pretty good comeback, to be honest. I'm not quite sure why he didn't do a lap. I think he just kept invalidating all his laps, but obviously he started from the back of the grid in qualifying. But a result of fourth place is pretty good then. Karma in fifth. I believe he had some sort of incident in the race, but I'm not 100% sure what it was. I think he might have maybe got had some contact with Desmond Danny there, who ended up in sixth place, but I can't be 100% sure of that. So if that's wrong, I apologise, guys. But I think that's what happened. Jaeger then comes home in 7th position, 8th for KG. He wins the first person battle ahead of Yono Ninja, who ends up in 9th position. So if we look at the actual championship now, that was the race results. If we look at the championship, Seafire's lead has been cut down to 11 points. I now move up to second in the championship ahead of Karma. So like I said at the start of the race, Seafire is the main championship rival just because he's winning. That's what I meant. But Karma is equally a rival because he's literally only 2 points behind me. And in fourth place then, Darius absolutely fires himself back into championship contention, only 18 points back, so he's only 7 points back of myself. So he's definitely in the hunt still. Vazels 26 points back, so he's starting to fall out of contention a little bit there, but you know, he's still got a fairly good chance. And then Danny, I think, is probably kind of out of it now with 43 points back of Seafire. X1, obviously not in this race, with 54 points. Vladimir Jaeger now has 33 points in 8th place. He moves ahead of Mystic Prune, who's still on 32, of course. If we look at the second page of the results then, Yono Ninja in 10th position, obviously have to come in last in that race, but he's still ahead of his fellow first person rider, KG, in 11th position, so 1 point in it between those two. So first person championship is hotting up there, a bit further down the order. Sloppy Warlock in 12th, he's not been here since Misano, I don't think, so I'm not expecting him back at any point, I would assume. Blake then in 13th, and Alfie Brooks in 14th position there. So if we look at the Teams Championship then, a massive lead now for us as Petronas Sprinter Racing. I don't think it actually got cut down at all because obviously Darius did win, but I got second, C5 got fourth, and he beat Desmond Danny by a couple of positions, so I think we still gained more points from the weekend overall. So we've now got a 50-point lead in front of MV Augusta in second, and then obviously it's the battle of Vazels versus Karma for that third and fourth position, because Karma's never had a teammate and Vazels has not had a teammate since about Misano, like I said, with Sloppy Warlock not being here. So 7 points in it between Vazels and Karma. 5th place then for the Red Bull KTM IO team. They've not gained any points for a while, I don't think, because their riders haven't really been here. Marta VDS, obviously both their riders in attendance for this one's with Jaeger and Yono Ninja, so they've moved up the order a little bit and Speed Up as well. But that rounds it up then for the Japanese Grand Prix in RRacing. I believe the next one is Brno, because I'm actually a few behind. So I think the next one to come out will be Brno. So I hope you guys look forward to that one. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Hope you're staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.